My name is Ethan Cole. I'm 28 years old, born and raised in Manchester, England, a city where rain has a way of making every street look like a memory and every memory feel a little haunted. This is the story I've never told anyone. I call it My Landlord's Wife Said. Don't pay rent, just be mine. It began in late November, when the cold had settled into the walls of my flat so deeply that even the radiators sounded tired. I was living in a narrow red brick building on a quiet side street in Chorlton, the kind of place estate agents called full of character because they couldn't call it old, damp, and one bad month away from falling apart. At the time, my life was balanced on the edge of collapse. I was working as a junior architect at a firm in the city center, buried under impossible deadlines, unpaid overtime, and the constant humiliation of being spoken to like I should feel lucky just to be there. My boss, Richard Hale, believed pressure revealed talent. Mostly, it revealed who could survive the longest without sleep. I was good at surviving, less good at living. My younger sister, Lily, called me every few days from Leeds, usually to ask if I'd spoken to our mother. I usually hadn't. Mom and I had been circling the same old grief for years. My father leaving, the debts, the silence that followed. Some families break all at once. Ours had cracked slowly, like ice under too much weight. So when December approached and my account dipped lower than it ever had, I did what I had trained myself to do. I said nothing. I kept smiling at work, kept answering Lily with "I'm fine," kept pretending the final red notice under my door hadn't made my stomach turn to stone. The rent was 5 days late when I first really noticed her. Her name was Helena. I'd seen her before, of course, on the staircase, in the courtyard, once in the hallway with grocery bags pressed against her hip while she searched her handbag for keys. She was my landlord's wife. That was all I knew. My landlord, Marcus Whitmore, was somewhere in his 50s, broad, polished, always smelling faintly of aftershave and money. He owned 3 buildings in the area and spoke in the clipped, distant tone of a man who had never once been told no. Helena was younger than him by at least 15 years, maybe more. Beautiful in a way that made you look away too quickly, as if staring too long might expose something private in yourself. Dark hair, pale skin, eyes that never seemed fully at rest. She moved like someone being watched, even when she was alone. The night everything changed, I came home just after 9, soaked through from the rain, and carrying a cardboard tube of rolled drawings under one arm. The hallway light on the second floor had gone out again. I was halfway to my door when I heard her voice behind me. "Ethan." I turned so fast I nearly dropped the tube. She stood at the top of the stairs in a cream sweater and black skirt, one hand resting on the rail. There was something strange in her expression, not fear exactly, but urgency wrapped in calm. "You've had notices," she said. I forced a laugh I didn't feel. "Looks like Marcus doesn't miss much." "No," she said softly. "He doesn't." For a second, neither of us moved. Rain tapped faintly against the stairwell window. Somewhere below us, a door shut. "I'm sorting it," I told her. "Just need a few more days." She came down 2 steps, slowly, her gaze holding mine in a way that made my chest tighten. "Marcus wants to change the locks on Friday." The blood drained from my face. "Friday?" She nodded. I looked away, jaw clenching. There are certain humiliations a man can hide from the world, but not from himself. Standing there, damp and broke and exhausted, I felt every one of them. I said, "I'm sorting it." "I know." Her voice softened. "That's why I waited for you." I frowned. "What do you mean?" She glanced down the stairwell before stepping closer. Close enough that I caught the faint scent of her perfume. Something warm, expensive, dangerous. "Come inside for a minute." Every sensible instinct I had told me not to. But there was something in her tone that didn't sound flirtatious or casual. It sounded serious. Fragile, even. She led me to the flat 1 floor above mine, the one she shared with Marcus. Inside, everything was polished wood, muted lamps, clean lines. Beautiful but cold. The sort of home that felt staged for people who never touched each other. She poured me a drink without asking and handed me the glass. Her fingers brushed mine. She noticed that I noticed. Then she said, very quietly, "Don't pay the rent this month." I stared at her. "What?" She held my gaze. "Don't pay rent." A pause. "Just be mine." The room went completely still. I actually thought I'd misheard her. "Helena, I'm serious. You're my landlord's wife." Her mouth twitched, but there was no humor in it. You say that like it means I belong to him. My throat went dry. What exactly are you asking me? She stepped closer, her eyes bright and unreadable. I'm asking whether you've ever been so lonely that the wrong person felt like rescue. I should have left then. I know that now. But there was something broken in the way she said it. Something that reached into the exhausted, vulnerable parts of me I'd spent months trying to ignore. And when she touched my arm, lightly, like she was afraid I might disappear, I felt the whole shape of my life begin to tilt. Then I heard the front door downstairs open. Helena's face changed instantly. Not softened, not frightened, warned. She gripped my wrist hard enough to hurt and whispered, "Don't let him know you were here." And that was the moment I understood this wasn't temptation. It was the beginning of something far more dangerous. I didn't breathe for a full 3 seconds after Helena whispered those words. "Don't let him know you were here." Her grip on my wrist tightened as the heavy sound of the front door echoed up the stairwell below us. The building carried sound in strange ways. Sometimes footsteps traveled through the walls like distant thunder. These were unmistakable, slow, heavy, controlled. Marcus Whitmore. Helena's eyes darted toward the hallway. For the first time since I'd known her, I saw real fear in them. "Kitchen," she whispered. She pulled me toward a narrow doorway, just as the stairwell door downstairs creaked open. My heart hammered so loudly I was sure the entire building could hear it. The kitchen lights were off. Only the faint glow from the living room stretched across the floor. Helena pushed me gently behind the tall pantry cabinet near the window. "Don't move," she breathed. Then she was gone. A second later, I heard the living room lamp click on. Marcus's voice followed. Low, smooth, controlled in the way men speak when they expect the world to behave exactly as they want it to. "You're still awake." Helena's tone had changed completely. Lighter, casual, almost bored. "I was reading." "You don't read at night." I held my breath. A pause, then the soft sound of fabric as she moved across the room. "Well, tonight I did." Footsteps crossed the wooden floor. I imagined Marcus removing his coat, placing his briefcase down in that precise, careful way he seemed to do everything. "You've been restless lately," he said. "Have I?" "You walk at night." "I hear you." Another silence. In the dark kitchen, my pulse throbbed in my throat. "I like the quiet," Helena replied. Marcus hummed softly. The sound wasn't pleasant. "You've always liked attention more than quiet." I heard ice clink against glass. "You smell like someone else's perfume." My stomach dropped. Helena didn't answer immediately. When she finally spoke, her voice was calm enough to be terrifying. "Maybe it's yours." Marcus chuckled under his breath. "Don't play games with me." I pressed my back against the cabinet, my mind racing. This wasn't flirtation. This wasn't some secret affair waiting to happen. This felt like standing in the middle of a war I didn't understand. Then Marcus said something that made my blood run cold. "The tenant downstairs. Ethan Cole." My chest tightened. Helena's voice stayed steady. "What about him?" "He's late on rent." I heard Marcus take a sip of his drink. 5 days. Helena didn't respond. Marcus continued. "I told the agency to prepare eviction papers." A long pause stretched across the room. Then Helena asked quietly, "That seems harsh." "He signed a contract." So, Marcus said softly, "Contracts matter." Something in his tone made the hair on my arms rise. "I also find it interesting," he added, "how often you seem to run into him." The room went silent. From where I stood in the shadows, I could see the faint outline of Helena through the doorway. She hadn't moved. Marcus continued, "You spoke to him tonight." It wasn't a question. Helena exhaled slowly. "Yes." My heart nearly stopped. Marcus's voice dropped even lower. "And what exactly did you say to him?" The seconds stretched painfully. Helena finally answered. "I told him to pay his rent." Marcus watched her for a moment. I could feel it in the air. Then he laughed. But it wasn't the kind of laugh people make when they're amused. It was colder. "I hope that's all you told him." Helena didn't respond. Marcus set his glass down. "You know," he said calmly, "I've built my life on one simple rule." Helena's voice came carefully. "And what's that?" Marcus stepped closer to her. "I don't tolerate betrayal." My pulse pounded so hard my vision blurred. For a moment, I thought he knew I was there. Then Marcus sighed and loosened his tie. "Anyway," he said casually, "the tenant won't be our problem much longer." Helena's voice sharpened slightly. "What does that mean?" Marcus's tone turned strangely calm. "It means," he said, "by Friday, He won't be living here anymore. Silence filled the room again. Then Marcus walked down the hallway toward the bedroom. The moment the door closed, Helena rushed into the kitchen. Her face was pale. "He suspects something," she whispered. "I didn't even do anything," I said quietly. Her eyes met mine. "You came here. That's enough." My head spun. "Helena, what's really going on?" She hesitated. For the first time since I'd met her, the confident mask completely fell away. "He watches everything," she said softly. "Marcus." She nodded. "You think he's just a landlord?" The way she said it made my stomach tighten. "He isn't." "What do you mean?" Helena swallowed. Then she said something that changed everything. "Marcus doesn't just evict people, Ethan." Her voice trembled slightly. "Sometimes people disappear from his buildings." The room felt suddenly much smaller. "What are you saying?" She looked straight into my eyes. "I'm saying you're not in danger because you can't pay rent." My chest tightened. "Then why?" Helena's fingers trembled slightly as she reached for my hand. "Because Marcus thinks I might care about you." I stared at her. "Do you?" Her answer came almost as a whisper. "Yes." Then she said the one thing I wasn't prepared for. "And if he finds out, he won't just destroy you." She paused. "He'll destroy both of us." For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Helena's hand was still holding mine, but her fingers were trembling now. Not with hesitation, with fear. I tried to make sense of what she'd said. "People don't just disappear from buildings," I whispered. Her eyes lifted slowly. "They do if no one asks questions." A cold silence filled the kitchen. I pulled my hand away and ran it through my hair. "Helena, if Marcus is that dangerous, why are you still here?" She let out a quiet, bitter laugh. "Because leaving Marcus Whitmore isn't something people do easily." I frowned. "What does that mean?" She hesitated. Then she said something that made my chest tighten. 3 years ago, I tried." My heart sank. "What happened?" Helena leaned back against the counter, staring at the floor like the memory itself hurt. "I packed a suitcase. I had a place arranged in Brighton. I even bought the train ticket." She swallowed. "But Marcus found the ticket." I waited. "What did he do?" Helena looked up at me. "He didn't yell. He didn't threaten me." Her voice dropped. "He just told me something." "What?" Her lips barely moved when she answered. "Everyone you care about depends on my silence." A chill crawled down my spine. "He knows everything about my family," she continued. "My father's debts, my brother's business, my mother's medical bills." The realization hit me slowly. "He owns you." She nodded once. "Not legally, but in every way that matters." I looked toward the door Marcus had disappeared through. Suddenly the building felt different. Not like a home, like a trap. "So why help me?" I asked quietly. Helena's eyes softened. "Because when I saw you, I saw someone who still had a chance to escape." She stepped closer. "You still believe life can change, and you don't?" I asked. Her smile was sad. "I used to." Down the hallway, a floorboard creaked. We both froze. Marcus was awake. Helena grabbed my arm quickly. "You have to leave." "How?" "The back staircase. It leads to the alley." "But Marcus." "Ethan." Her voice sharpened. "Now." We moved quietly through the kitchen and into a narrow service corridor I'd never noticed before. At the end was a thin metal door. She unlocked it. Cold winter air rushed in. Before I stepped out, I turned back to her. "You should come with me." For a moment, something fragile passed across her face. Hope. Then it disappeared. "I can't." "Why?" Her eyes glistened. "Because Marcus would find us." A silence stretched between us. Finally, she reached up and touched my cheek gently. "You asked earlier if I care about you." I nodded. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "That's exactly why you need to go." Footsteps sounded faintly from the hallway inside. "Marcus." Helena pushed me toward the door. "Run." I stepped into the freezing alley. Before the door closed, she said one last thing. "Live a life he can't reach." Then the door shut. I never saw Helena again. 2 weeks later, the building was suddenly sold. Marcus Whitmore disappeared from public records almost overnight. No forwarding address. No explanation. Just gone. Sometimes I still walk past that street when I'm in Manchester. The windows look different now. The walls have been repainted. New people live there. But every time I pass that alley, I remember something Helena once said that night. That loneliness can make the wrong person feel like rescue. And I learned something else too. Sometimes love isn't the person who holds on to you. Sometimes love is the person who lets you go so you can survive.